Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of Gear Up, and today we are here with newly appointed head referee Andrew. So today we're going to learn a little bit about the game rules and his experience with reffing FTC. So let's gear up. Well, to start off, I want to test your skills a little bit. I want to see how good of a head referee you are.
Okay.
We're going to see how this goes. So I have 5 clips. And these 5 clips have various penalties throughout them. One of them actually doesn't have a penalty. I want you to point out which one that is.
Okay.
So we're gonna test it. Let's see if you can pick it out. Here's the first one. I'll let you do another watch through.
That would be the opponent gate zone. That would be G425.
Very well, that is correct. Let's move on to the next one.
I cannot see a foul in that one.
That is correct. There is no foul in this one. This one was the trick one.
It was kind of close with the human player getting close to contacting the robot, but there was no foul in that one.
Very good. Now this one's a little bit hard to see, but it's very obvious. I will say that.
There was some collision in the gate zone.
Yes, the blue robot.
Blue robot, yeah, that
hits the gate.
That would be G424. That one.
Here is our 4th one.
That is 25 right there.
And what is that?
That is keep out of opponent's secret tunnel.
All right, this is our last one.
Okay, that's the human player throwing the artifacts at the robot. I can't remember which rule, but that's no yeeting elements.
So that's not allowed. That's off the table.
That's completely not allowed. That would G433. That would be a minor foul per scoring element. So based on this video here, they've thrown 2 artifacts in that video there, so they should get 2 minor fouls. G433. Humans may not yeet scoring elements.
It's very interesting. Well, I think we've proved you know your rules a bit, so that's good to know. Well, Decode was your first ever time being an official head referee.
Yes, it was.
You were a head referee at the South Brisbane Regional.
Yes, I was.
What was that experience like for you, especially being a first-time head referee?
The game itself was a really fast-paced game, with being a launcher game, and a lot of defense in the game. It really required a lot of concentration on every part. You really had to rely on your other 2 gameplay refs. They're the ones who carry the flags, and they normally stand at the corners near the loading zone.
We had Craig on last week, and he touched on he was a scoring referee more specifically.
I remember, yes.
Yes, and it was very, very fast-paced, as you just said.
Yes.
How do referees actually prepare for these sort of games before an event to make sure that they are fair and consistent?
Well, for starters, referees should read the game manual, understand the game manual, read the team updates, be able to interpret the rules in such a way that will be fair for everyone involved. The head referee should be able to control the game, make sure that all refs are playing fair, that no ref is being biased towards another team.
And when the matches are really close, I know it can be quite tough to make those choices in the moment. How do referees kind of decipher whether, for example, it might be a foul or not?
Well, fouls are given based on what is seen in the moment. So if you see a foul happen, you'll call the foul. If the team believes that they did not score that foul, they'll go to the question box, and then they can not argue but debate the head referee why they shouldn't receive the foul. If the head referee doesn't change their mind, the decision sticks and is final. But the head referee is normally happy to listen to you if you are speaking to them respectfully.
Yeah.
Referencing the rules is also really helpful.
Yeah. And on that tone of the question box, what's the best way for teams to approach a referee when they question the rules?
To have like a certain rule that they are they want to speak about on a device that they can show the head referee, because the head referee can refer to only the game manual. They can't use any video replays. If a team goes up to the question box and doesn't have any rules available for them to defend their case, the head referee is unlikely to be able to change their decision if they're not sure what rule you are trying to mean.
Yeah. From your perspective, what are the most common penalties, especially this season, that teams are commonly running into?
Some of them that I've experienced is G417, so where opponent robots hit the opponent gate. So robots must only operate gates as directed. So if a blue robot hits the red gate and releases artifacts, that's a massive detriment to you. You receive one foul for hitting the gate and then a foul for every subsequent artifact. So that would fall under two rules, G417 and G418. Other rules that I've seen common was G401, auto let the robot do its thing. So a lot of teams, when their auto ends, before the buzzer happens, they start to touch their control hub, or their driver hub, and they start to try and select their next op mode. But that isn't actually allowed, and you will actually lose any pattern points that you've scored during the game. So it's best to just wait for that 8-second transition. The other one is the base zone protection. During the end game, it is very easy to be able to give the opponent a full park, which is not good for any game if you're around those protected zones.
Those small mistakes can either make or break a game.
Well, absolutely. Like the G417 and G418, if you have a classifier filled with 9 artifacts and the opponent hits the gate, that's 150 points of fouls right there, which will probably lose them the game.
Yeah. How do you suggest teams try and avoid causing these fouls in the first place?
Well, keep an eye out on the time. The time is really helpful for the base zone violations, because you can't score any base zone violation fouls during the normal tally-up period. Only during the end game can you do that. With regards to G417, the gate zone violations, staying away from the gate zones is really, really important. Knowing where other robots are, staying away from them, because defense is high in this game. If you're close to there, a robot might tap you and you might accidentally hit the gate, unintentionally letting out all of their artifacts.
Yeah. I kind of want to shift the questions a little bit, and I want to ask you, throughout your years of being either a student, because you have been a student, or a mentor and alumni, have you noticed the standard of FTCs in Australia changing over time?
Absolutely. I remember years when I first started, robots were less complicated. They could do less back before systems like GoBuilder, the Axon servos, before they were around. All robots were really primitive. Now they're starting to become a whole level above that. They're all using custom parts, high-end servos, high-end machine parts and 3D printed parts.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the new system core that'll be coming to FTC?
I think it's good and it's bad. I wish that there was still a way to use servos, because having the small package of a servo fitting inside a robot is really good. Take 14380 center stage drone launcher. You wouldn't be able to do that with the new motor, considering that it's so large. However, on another note, it's good to be able to have more powerful motors, having better systems. And with this motor, it will be able to be used in FRC as well.
What does a well-run competition look like from your perspective, especially as a head referee?
Well, my role as a head referee is solely through the 2.5-minute game. So the FTA, they have, control of the field until the field is randomized. So a well-run event is having enough volunteers who know what they're doing, being able to have the AV people control the system on time, having no bugs in the software where it crashes, and having teams being ready on time, having their autos selected, not having any issues with like control hubs or driver hubs crashing, having artifacts go astray, which makes the competition or the event run really smoothly.
From a volunteer point of view, how does having a live stream at an FTC event impact how that event is run?
Well, it means that people can watch it from afar. They don't have to be crowding around the field. It's especially hard for decode, considering that the field resetters have to constantly run from the goal where stray artifacts land to the human player zones. Having to hand them over, it makes it hard for spectators to watch live, like in front of the field, but having the stream enables them to watch it from the pits. They can then send it to their families who couldn't make it to the event and being able to watch it from home. Also, it's fun to be able to watch it when you're after the event, so then you can like analyze what you've done, being able to say, oh, I really like how I did that, and all these other things.
Yeah, and our competition that we competed at didn't actually have a live stream.
No.
And one thing that I noticed is it was hard for other teams around the world and in other states of Australia to actually know what our robot can do, especially going internationals.
Yeah. So like the not having the live stream a lot, you have to look to the like FTC Scout and like the OPRs, but they don't always help determine what a team can and cannot do. Like you could receive 5 of your 6 matches have your full park, but those 5 matches you've been collided with in the base zone. So it really can determine if like you are truly capable of performing those actions during the game.
Yeah. What advice would you give to teams to stay on the right side of the rules?
Understand the competition manual. When the game comes out, you should be able to go through the manual, highlight areas of interest. If you don't understand those areas, ask a question in the Q&A. They're there for teams to ask. Using those rules, then you can start to get a better understanding of how to play the game. They will dictate on what you do during the game. So if you know that a base zone violation is a huge problem, staying away from the base zone during the end game can help your game perform better, not having any potential chance of scoring a foul. It really helps make your game less stressful.
For students or mentors listening, how can they get involved as a volunteer? And I want to kind of hear, even as a referee, how can people specifically get into that role?
Well, you can go to for Australia, the First Systems Australia, to sign up to volunteer. I don't know how the rest of the world sign up for volunteering, but becoming a referee, that's just taking an interest in how the gameplay works, making sure that all the games are run fairly. Requesting to be a referee is always helpful. Understanding the rules is a big thing. If you don't understand the rules, it's very hard to become a good referee to try not to make mistakes. I've made mistakes myself before, but I am still always learning the rules, making sure that all the rules I know are up to date.
Yeah. What do you personally enjoy most about being a head referee in FTC?
Being able to just experience the games like firsthand up close to the field, being able to make sure that all of the games are run fairly. I like seeing that all games are run to the same standard. If the games are run to a worse standard, that's not a good thing. And my goal is to try and just make sure that all games in Queensland, either if it's at the South Brisbane or the North Brisbane Regional, that they're run to the same quality.
So, as you know, in the decode season, defense is very heavy.
Yes, it is.
It's one of the first FT seasons in a long time that they've actually encouraged defense as a proper strategy. From a head referee point of view, how can you decipher between fouls? Because I know personally watching it, it can be a bit crazy.
Understanding that the behavior of the other robot is not egregious. So if a robot is forced across multiple tiles into, let's say, the gate, that then becomes a foul for the robot that's pushing, because that's them, they are forcing. It's based on what you see around the field. It's hard to describe properly, but if you see a robot just pushing other robots around, that is completely fine. But if they're intentionally trying to damage other robots, that's a problem. One of the rules is this is not combat robots. It means don't try and break a robot. Defense should never involve any part of a robot breaking. So being careful around that is good. Because if you see really rough defense, then you'll call them for egregious behavior if they cause damage.
Yeah. Going into the World Championship, do you believe defense will be a big part of that?
In my opinion, probably not. FTC lacks defense in pretty much every game. FRC has high defense. If you watch some of the games from the Australian Nationals, the playoffs with 14-380, you will see the defense that they were able to do against other teams, slowing them down. I hope that it would be a viable strategy for the World Championship. Do I believe that it will be something that a lot of teams do? No, because high throughput scoring is, a lot of teams believe, is the best thing to do. But being able to slow a high scoring robot down to a point where your alliance partner can then outscore them, can really make or break your game. You don't have to be the strongest robot or the fastest scoring robot to win a game. If you know your strategy, you know the opponent's weakness, if you know where they launch from, that you can get in their way, slowing them down can cause them to make mistakes, meaning that you could potentially come out of the game as a winner, basically.
Yeah. I see you have a couple of things on the table here. Do you mind explaining to me what they are?
So this here, so normally I have a little sheet that I keep in my pocket for a quick reference of rules. Any important rules, like some definitions, teams sometimes ask to see what they are, so I have one of these. I got my flag, red flag and blue flag. You wave the red flag if the red opponent is doing something wrong. You wave the blue flag if the blue robot's doing something wrong.
Yeah. How do teams decipher between a major foul and a minor foul?
A minor foul is just waving the flag up and you point to the robot what's doing the foul. A major foul is waving and then crossing your arms. That's to denote a major foul. And then a pin is just counting the robot down, and then after the allotted time, you then wave either cross your arms for a major foul or no crossing your arms.
Yeah.
And then this is a standard yellow card, and this is a red card. So, and then I have my lanyard of past competitions.
Yes, you have a lot of badges on there. It's quite a collection, isn't it?
Yes, I've been competing and volunteering for quite a while.
Yeah. Well, I want to ask you one final question, and something that we've been asking all of our GEARUP guests. If you could give any advice to either students, alumni, mentor, volunteers, vendors, what would you give?
My bit of advice would be to have patience, whether that was with fellow teams, mentors, or anyone in general. Having patience with someone who's trying to understand the rules or who's trying to understand how to do something differently. Having patience is really good for everyone, because it means then they get to learn without being disrupted or being treated like they shouldn't be learning that. Everyone should have the ability to learn whatever they want to learn, and having patience with them is a really good skill to have.
Well, you've just geared up with the BotBuilders and Andrew. Hopefully you found this GEARUP episode very informative and can help out some FTC teams across the globe. So we will see you next time.